This video is the review for the basic angle rules video. As a reminder, if you have not watched the original video, I would go back and watch that one first. Our goal here is to quickly go through a few examples to make sure you have these skills mastered. So the major vocabulary we covered were on opposite angles, and we also called them vertical angles, which are always equal to each other. And it is a nice shortcut to see a way to find those intersections, how the angles across the intersection are equal to each other. Now, complementary angles are angles that add to 90 degrees. So they add to a right angle. And finally, supplementary angles are angles that add to 180 degrees. Once again, for complementary and supplementary angles, it is okay to have more than two. Most often, it's going to be two angles are supplementary or two angles are complementary, but that is not the rule that it has to be that way. So let's jump into our examples right away here. So these first two examples are from supplementary angles, but they're also straight angles because this down here is a line. And a line has to add to a total of 180 degrees. Therefore, for this first problem, if I did 180 degrees minus 125 degrees, that would give me my answer of 55 degrees. And as you're probably really excited to hear, this is what my friend 50 Cent would say was 55 degrees. Okay. For our next angle down here on the bottom, same idea, except that in this problem, we have 85 degrees that we're starting with instead of the obtuse angle, 125 degrees. So this one I could solve as an equation, doing 180 minus y equals 85 degrees. Or I could do 180 minus 85, which is equal to y. Both ways would work. Now, how I think of it is 180 minus 80 would be 100. So if I'm doing 180 minus 85, I need to go 5 smaller than 100, which means that my y is equal to 95 degrees, which, as my friend 50 Cent would say, was 95 degrees. For the next problem, we are working with what we call vertical, or you could call these as opposite angles. And we need to know that when we're working with these types of problems, that the vertical or the opposite angles have to be equal to each other. And the way that I prove that to you is if I take this angle here and I turn it, the angle on the left and the angle on the right get bigger or smaller at the same rate, which shows that they have to then be equal to each other. Therefore, the angles above and below have to be equal, and the angles left and right have to be equal. Therefore, my x has to be equal to 45 degrees. The one here on the right is the same idea. These angles are vertical from each other. Therefore, y is equal to 60 degrees for this problem. And let's do one more set of examples, and then we are all done. So here are a couple types of problems that will pop up in the Tangled Web section that don't necessarily attach to either of these ideas, because this one down here is a 90-degree angle, or what we call complementary. And a complementary angle isn't just really nice to each other. They're also adding to 90 degrees. So in this problem, I would do 35 plus y has to equal to 90, which means that I need to subtract 90 minus 35, and I would get 45 degrees. Nope, 55 degrees. Almost had to remake the video for that one. There we go, 55 degrees. The last problem here, this one's a little bit tricky to see, but the whole circle all the way around the outside has to add to 360 degrees total. Therefore, 260 plus x has to equal 360. 360 minus 260 gives us 100 degrees, which is our answer. As always, if you have any questions, please let me know.